My name is Christina Hernandez. What I am sharing is not just my story, it is a forensic record of harassment, retaliation, and corruption. Every detail is timestamped and documented. September 10th, 2025, Symbolic reassignment. At 6:38 a.m., my desktop screen flipped upside down on my first day of school. At 8:41 a.m., my mom received notice that our case was reassigned to Judge Sunil R. Harjani. Sunil threads into a harassment pattern involving the word son. The timing and naming were symbolic provocation, not coincidence. The hackers knew what the judicial system was filing that day before it was even filed. They coordinated directly with the judge. That night, I emailed the president of DePaul University. The subject line said, "Hackers and Judge Sun," my way of calling him out for his connection to Judge Sunil R. Harjani. He never replied. My mom knew immediately that Judge Durkin and Judge Harjani were corrupt. This is not just a civil rights violation, this is criminal. September 11th, 2025, targeted at DePaul. After just one day of school, I was targeted by Dean Ellen Fingado. This was not something new. It had been ongoing. They were waiting for me to return to school after summer break. They had a plan and they carried it out. I emailed the president of DePaul University documenting ongoing harassment. He never replied. Instead, he forwarded my emails back to Dean Ellen Fingado. My mom and I had made it clear the president of DePaul University had a duty to act. His silence was not ignorance, it was complicity. Complaints to the Department of Education in April 2025 and the Illinois Board of Nursing in September 2025 were ignored after case numbers were assigned. Dean Fingado, also Title IX, pressured me to meet behind closed doors. I declined. She then launched a student conduct process. Dr. Bird, head of nursing, demanded meetings with both Fingado and herself, even though my complaints were against them. Soon after, I was removed from the nursing program. They told me I could appeal. I declined and told them I will not sign off on fabricated paperwork to justify their misconduct. What they did to me my entire time at the school was beyond misconduct. It was illegal and they knew it. My tuition, grants, and scholarships were stolen. 3 years of investment erased. This was premeditated, it was coercive, it was organized crime to protect those who exploited us. This is not just a civil rights violation, this is criminal. September 12th, 2025, clinicals sabotaged. My first day of clinicals were supposed to be an 8-hour shift at Northwestern Hospital. Instead, I sat at a table for 2 hours and was sent home. Dr. Bird claimed it was orientation. Orientation never happened. This was retaliation. She had threatened my clinicals before and followed through. That same day, Judge Harjani struck our motions for FBI involvement and a restraining order. He sealed our complaint, then contradicted himself by striking motions that should have been granted. This is not just a civil rights violation, this is criminal. September 15th and 17th, 2025, coded retaliation in class. On both days, Professor Richard Lee made the following statements in class. What do you do when you get kicked out of college? You go into comedy. This was not a joke, it was a coded message, delivered publicly twice. It was meant to humiliate, destabilize, and signal institutional complicity. These are not procedural errors, they are crimes. Christina's law demands criminal penalties, federal review, and public accountability for every institution that engages in or enables these acts. This is not just a civil rights violation, this is criminal. Symbolic violence and psychological targeting. Professor Karen Nedgel at DePaul University called the thermometer a gun when my lab partner put it to her head. I knew she was telling me to kill myself. Another student at DePaul wrote, "Either live or die, purple your choice," on my lab. In high school, a friend posted images on Snapchat for me to see. Photos of herself and her cousin lying on the ground as if deceased. The images were labeled crime scene photos. This same person sent me a TikTok of Donkey with Shakira. It showed a doll hanging from the ceiling, swinging in circles with the rope around its neck. The next day, our friendship ended. She also deliberately posted, "Knock knock, FBI, open up." She knew the full harm being planned and what it was going to take to stop this organized crime. Later, through another classmate's Snapchat account, she sent me a streak of herself, her boyfriend, and another boy giving me the middle finger. We weren't friends anymore. This was odd and creepy. She was one of many people, both those I knew and those I didn't, who sent me photos of themselves giving me the middle finger. The hackers were coordinating all of this. What was being posted was directed at me. For the moment when I would finally realize the full scope of the crime. At the time, I had no idea. This was not random. This was premeditated to protect child exploiters. This is not just a civil rights violation. This is criminal. The pattern: first day of school, harassment; first day of clinicals, sabotage; professors join in with coded retaliation, symbolic violence, and psychological targeting, reinforcing the message. Judges sealed our lawsuit against DePaul University, Gunty and McCarthy, and Empis. The complaint exposes a crime. They sealed it because they know it. Since filing on September 5th, 2025, nothing has been done. Requests for reassignment and for an attorney were met with silence. This is not just a civil rights violation. This is criminal. This is organized crime. It is systemic. It is meant to protect those who exploited me, my mom, and my grandparents. This is not just a civil rights violation. This is criminal. Help me get this out. Read my amended complaint on Linktree. Share this video. Demand answers. Silence protects exploiters. And we refuse to be silent. Please help me get this to the FBI, President Donald J. Trump, and Turning Point.